But most of all, log on to giveday.org anytime before midnight tonight and make a contribution to your favorite nonprofit organization. You can choose from more than 500 organizations, and you'll be supporting those groups who keep the Tampa Bay area healthy and strong. Thanks for supporting Give Day. We'll see you next hour, and that's all I'm saying. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2017. I'm Allison Kropff with 10 News WTSP, and I'm so excited to be your host for the next hour of our live streaming webcast here. We're here at the WEDU studios in Tampa with representatives from some of over 500 nonprofits who are all participating in Give Day Tampa Bay today. The theme of Give Day this year is Live Here, Give Here, and making a donation is so quick and it is so easy. All you have to do is log on to giveday.org and search for your favorite charity from our list of participants. Again, there are a lot of them. And when you hit the donate button, you're going to fill in your credit card information and you're going to make that secure gift. The minimum donation is only $5. Give Day Day is going to be going on until 11:59 tonight, so you still have plenty of time. We are going to be streaming live here until 7 o'clock tonight. And in the next hour, I'm going to be talking and listening to several nonprofit groups who are making a difference here in Tampa Bay and that you can learn a little bit more about and then decide to give your donation. We are going to start with United Way of Suncoast. Deanna Wilsey is here to talk about that organization. Thank you for talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
What kind of a day is Give Day for your organization?
Well, I think it's a really important day. I mean, not necessarily just for fundraising, but just to raise awareness to all the great work that happens with nonprofits here in our community. You know, so often we are doing hard work behind the scenes. You don't really see us, and it's a great chance to really shine the light on the phenomenal work that happens here in our community.
And you said behind the scenes. I think a lot of people know about United Way, but maybe they don't know exactly how you are involved in the community. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of people get introduced to United Way through a workplace campaign. That's typically how we work as far as our normal every day-to-day fundraising. But they may not know what we're doing day-to-day. Mm-hmm. So we actually serve 4 counties. We're Hillsborough, Pinellas, Sarasota, and soon-to-be Manatee, but also DeSoto. But what we focus on is really fighting for the education and financial stability of every person in our community. So what that looks like is educational programs for kids in elementary school and really birth through elementary school, programs that are designed to help more kids graduate from high school here in our community, and not just graduate, but graduate ready for college or career, so that they have a plan of what's next. And then also focusing on adult financial stability, to make sure that our folks have budgeting skills. They know how to save money, how to advance their career employability skills so that they're able to earn more. Because what happens so often is, parents that are struggling, they're working multiple jobs, they're not able to be home as much to work with their kids. It is a generational cycle, and our goal is to break that cycle of poverty.
I'm sure you have so many stories about people that you've been able to witness your organization change their lives. Do you have any you could share with us?
There's just so many. One that comes to mind is a young woman named Chandra. She actually came to our resource center in Sulphur Springs over in the East Tampa area, and she just had a string of bad circumstances that happened to her. Life happens sometimes to all of us, but she came to the resource center because she had lost her job, and so she was looking for some help with her resume and finding new employment. And during that time, the place that she was staying, the house actually burned down. So then she was separated from her kids. She had 3 kids, so 2 of them stayed with her mom, 1 of them stayed with her in another place, and she was still just trying to find a job. She had all this happening. So she worked with us. We provided her an opportunity to get a variety of certifications to, and really enhance her skills. We're able to help her find a job, and she actually has gotten 2 promotions there. Wow. She's now a store manager and is working on getting her family back together. But I just think about Chandra and what a hard worker she is and how much this really matters to her and her family. And it's one of those things that just makes me feel really good about the work we do.
Yeah, and you were able to witness that and see her thriving in that job now, too. What would she have done if United Way of Suncoast wouldn't have been there?
I don't know that she knows. She was working a minimum wage job. She wasn't seeing any advancement. She might have been in the same situation of not being able to, live and raise with her kids. Not to mention just living in poverty, and that is a real struggle. When you're in that situation, you have to make some really difficult decisions about where to spend your dollars. Mm-hmm. And now she has to make fewer really tough choices.
Yeah, that's really something special that you guys get to see happen. So today, obviously, we're wanting to raise money and we're wanting people to donate to United Way Suncoast. Where does that money go when that money is donated to your organization?
Well, it stays right here in our community, so it's not going anywhere else. It goes to fund programs like the resource center that I just mentioned for Chandra. It funds summer programs. We have a program that runs each summer that's called Summer Care, and it actually provides children in high need homes the opportunity to go to really quality summer programs where they're learning, and they have, instead of staying home or being in front of the television or with an untrained family member. One of the things that we know is children in high need areas, they actually lose 2 months of learning over the summer because they're not in enriched summer programs. So we look to put more kids in these programs so that they're not only maintaining but gaining skills over the summer, so they're returning to school better prepared, because it is a huge factor in high school dropout rates when you figure 2 months every summer over a 12-month or a 12-year school career. You get behind really fast. It's hard to catch back up. Yeah. But programs like that.
If people want to learn a little bit more, if they want to figure out what you're doing all the time, how can they find you?
Sure. So they can go to uwsuncoast.org, and they can find all sorts of information about our organization. They can also visit our sister website, which is Volunteer Suncoast, which is our volunteer portal, where they can find opportunities that they can plug themselves in during the year.
All right, Deanna Wilsey with United Way Suncoast, thank you for talking with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We appreciate that. So while our next guests are being seated right now, we're going to go to the leaderboard and get you updated on the donation totals. The nonprofit with the most online donors between 2 and 3 o'clock will get a $1,000 Power Hour prize provided by TICO. So be sure to go to giveday.org to support your favorite nonprofit right now. We're going to tell you a little bit about several nonprofits throughout the next hour. And right now I want to introduce you to Angie Lamont Bresnahan and Adeline Bresnahan and Alfonso Vargas. They're both here representing High Risk Hope today. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
How old is little Adeline?
She just turned 14 months.
14 months old. She's beautiful.
Thank you.
So talk a little bit about High Risk Hope. I know I've heard about it a little bit in the community, but for people that are just learning about it, tell us what you do.
So High Risk Hope is actually a Tampa-based nonprofit. It was started by Heather Barrow about 6 years ago, so in 2011. Basically, she had been put in a hospital for a prolonged period of time during her pregnancy, so she had to stay on prolonged hospital bed rest. And then after that, she delivered a premature baby boy who then stayed in the NICU for several weeks. And during that time, she realized there was a lot of gaps in communication, gaps in knowledge, not a lot of support built in for families undergoing those circumstances, which are oftentimes very stressful circumstances. So what she decided to do after the baby was discharged was create this organization whose primary goal is to create that kind of support for families either on prolonged hospital bed rest or once they've had their babies and they're in the NICU.
We have a video that we want to share because it'll give us a little more insight into what we're doing, so we're going to play that video for you right now. That's really sweet to be able to see some of those videos and to see how well all of these kids are doing because of your organization.
Absolutely.
And we have one of those with us. Adeline, you guys actually, you volunteer now, but you have a more personal story with High Risk Hope.
Correct. I was put on bed rest at at 25 weeks, and I was on bed rest for 26 days, and then she came at 28 weeks, and we spent 95 days in the NICU. So having the support and the resources and encouragement from High Risk Hope really helped us get through that hard time.
What are some of the things when you're saying, support and to have them be a part of that really difficult time for you? What are some of the things that they did for you?
One of my favorite things is on bed rest and in the NICU, they showed up with knapsacks. Now, when you're put on bed rest at 25 weeks and not expecting that, you tend to not have any supplies with you. So there was a comfortable blanket to remind you of home. There was good shampoo and good conditioners that women like, lotions. There was their calendar that everyone can get access to that kind of gives the milestones and where you're going in your pregnancy. The NICU knapsacks as well were very helpful. They had a baby holder that was organic that you just don't have time to get that, and you don't think you're going to need that as soon as you did. So we got some visits and a lot of encouragement from women that have actually been in the situation.
So people watching and they're wanting to make a donation, where can they go to learn more about your organization and learn how they can either volunteer or make that donation today?
They can visit our website at highriskhope.org. We have all our information there regarding all of our activities, ongoing fundraising events, and several times throughout the year we have fun things like the Tot Trot, which is like a 1 kilometer, 1 mile race for kiddos. So we get a lot of our NICU graduates, our VIPs, we call them very important preemies. They come back and we get to see them at the Tot Trot. So lots of information about our organization at highriskhope.org.
And Adeline's doing well. She looks like she's doing great.
She is thriving and sassy, and I'm really impressed that she held still because it's nap time.
She did a very good job. All right, thank you both for talking with us about the organization.
Thank you for having
We
us, and
appreciate
thank
that.
everyone for their donations.
Yeah. Our next guests are going to be getting seated here in just a few minutes. We're going to take you back to the leaderboard and get you updated on the total of all of your donations. Thank you for being here today for Give Day Tampa Bay. There are a number of Give Day incentives and prizes to encourage you to donate. The Tampa Bay Lightning Community Improvement Prize of $2,500 each is awarded to both the small nonprofit and large nonprofit in the community improvement category with the most online donors today. So give generously to the nonprofits working to improve the quality of life in our community. Be sure to go to giveday.org. Our next nonprofit for Give Day Tampa Bay is an organization that is dedicated to rescuing exotic felines. Big Cat Rescue works to end the private trade and ownership of these animals through public education and legislation. And reporter Laura McElroy is in Citrus Park with more on this. Laura?
Well, we are taking a walk on the wild side here at the Big Cat Rescue. And as you mentioned, the people here really do an amazing job of caring for these big cats and fighting to stop the abuse and the breeding of captive wild cats. Now, right away, I want to introduce you to a really cute guy here. His name is Aries. He's a 12-year-old cougar, and you can see he's having his little afternoon snack right now. And Big Cat Rescue, they rescued him when he was just 2 weeks old, along with his brother and his sister. Their mother was killed by a hunter in Idaho and would certainly have died if they had not been rescued and brought here to live out their days. I want to also introduce you to another beautiful cat, because they have 10 different types of wild cats here. They have lions, they have tigers. And speaking of tigers, this is Priya. Look at that. She's smiling for the camera. Could you be any more beautiful? Priya is 14 years old, and she was owned by a breeder and was forced to breed, and then they would sell those cubs. And when the breeder finally agreed to shut down just in November, that's when the Big Cat Rescue stepped in and were able to bring Priya here to her new permanent home. Now, Big Cat Rescue is working to raise $6,100 or $61,000. Woo! We don't want to cut you short there. $61,000, and a big part of it is for their Bobcat rehab. So this is Susan Bass, who's their Director of Public Relations. Susan, tell us why it's so critically important to raise this money for the Bobcat rehab and what the money will go for.
Right. Big Cat Rescue is one of just a few licensed rehabbers in the state of Florida for bobcats that have either been hit by a car, injured. Sometimes we get calls from people who have found kittens with no parents. And so we will go anywhere in the state, pick up these cats, and then bring them back here and rehabilitate them and hopefully release them back into the wild. A lot of times they do need surgery. And so what we're going to use a lot of this money from today, about half of it, is to actually have a new building and use it as a recovery area for bobcats to recuperate after they've had the surgery.
So a lot of people may think of Big Cat Rescue as a place where cats come to end their lives because they were in the circus, because they were owned by breeders, or people who thought that maybe a big cat would be a good pet and found out that it wasn't. But with the Bobcat program, that's really different. You're not trying to keep these bobcats. You're trying to get them back into their natural habitat.
Exactly. Other than the bobcats that we rehab, all of the other cats here are going to spend their entire lives here, like Priya and like Ari's. And then the other reason we need some money so desperately this year is that we are trying to purchase 4 new transport cages. When we rescued Priya, who's behind you now, as well as 4 other tigers from Colorado last November, they really did a number on our transport cages that were already getting old and rickety, and we really can't trust them anymore. And they're $7,500 a piece for a new transport cage, and we're trying to raise 4. So between the recovery building for the bobcats and the 4 transport cages, that's our $61,000, and we're getting really close. We've hit almost $40,000 today.
That's exciting. So that's why we need those donations to come in. Do you want to tell everyone how they can donate and give to your organization?
Yes, really to any organization. If you go to giveday.org, and there are hundreds of really amazing organizations right here in the community that need funds. And I know for Big Cat Rescue, this is annually one of our largest fundraising days of the year. So there are hundreds of wonderful charities, whether it's Big Cat Rescue, another one. Please go online and donate today.
Okay, well, thank you so much. So that's it here from Big Cat Rescue. You can see they're doing amazing work taking care of these cats and working to stop the abuse of wild cats in captivity. So they are certainly a worthy cause for your donation today. So go online to Give Day Tampa Bay and make your donation. Back to you in the studio.
Lots of great organizations. That's one of them. All right, Laura, thank you. All right, all day long you have been making donations, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much, and keep those donations coming. We want to talk about how the day is going so far. So right now we have Wilma Norton. She's with the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay to tell us about it. So how are we doing so far? Halfway through?
We're halfway through, and we're doing really well. We chopped the $900,000 mark a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, we have topped 5,000 donors. And so one of our emphasis this year was on getting more people to donate. That's why we lowered the donation from $25 to just $5. And so lots of people are stepping up, but there's still lots of time, and there's still lots of great organizations, as you just heard from Big Cat Rescue, that you can find somebody who's going to be doing something that meets your passion.
And that $5 is really easy to give, and it seems like a little amount, but for a lot of these organizations that really does help.
Well, and what we're saying to people is, make a gift that's meaningful to you. And for a lot of people, $5 is an entry-level gift. They maybe haven't given to a charity before, and so it's kind of a way for them to test it out. But, you know, if $5 is meaningful, $50, $500, whatever touches your heart and helps you reach out and share with one of the organizations that does something you care about. It's really easy. Go to giveday.org and you can do it in a few minutes.
This is a huge fundraising day, and maybe people don't understand just how important this is to some of those organizations that really don't get the exposure that they should be getting throughout the year.
One of my favorite things about Give Day is that it gives, especially some of the smaller nonprofits that don't have a lot of money in their marketing budget, a chance to be showcased on a program like this and in social media and on shows like yours, on the TV news. And so focusing our attention on giving to nonprofits all in one day, a sense of community pride at how many great organizations we have. It's really important for all of our nonprofits.
Yeah, it's a really big day for everyone. All right, Wilma Norton with the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, thanks for talking with us.
Thanks, Allison.
Good luck with the rest of the day.
Thanks.
It's going to be great. There are a lot of ways that you can decide how you need to start a nonprofit organization. So we're going to hear another story about someone deciding that they needed to give back and to help out.
The Lupus Foundation of Florida began in 1979 with the intent of serving Floridians affected by this horrible, incurable autoimmune disease. The most popular thing, however, is when we do large seminars, half-day, full-day seminars, and we're gearing up for a big family full-day seminar in October of this year as well. But it really impacts people's lives so they feel less isolated by this disease. They see that there are other people like them, and they learn how better to manage. One of the stories that I'm very involved with right now is about a little girl named Ava. And Ava's in school right now, so she's not here with me to speak. Ava has lupus kidney disease, and she's been on intravenous chemotherapy for 18 months now. And there's such a shortage of pediatric rheumatologists, those are the specialists who treat lupus, that she has to go to Shands Hospital in Gainesville. So she misses school. It's a 2-day thing. She has to have immunoglobulin infusions at home. Her mom's a nurse. She does that. So the inspiring thing for me is we help this family find the right care, and that I'm there as a resource for the family when they have questions and for the little girl. And this little girl went to Washington with me last year and spoke to congressional representatives. Very, very well, by the way. There are about 100,000 lupus patients in the state of Florida, 1.5 million nationwide. 9 out of 10 are women, and it usually develops during childbearing ages. So not only are you helping these women, you're helping their children and their husbands and their families all the way. So the impact on that one patient impacts a whole community.
Again, there are 500 nonprofits here in Tampa Bay that are available for you to make a donation to today, and one of them is the Humane Society of Pinellas. I want to introduce you to Sharon Boyes, the Development Director, and Stacy Efaw, the Executive Director. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to see you. And we also have to introduce you to Mason.
Yes.
5-year-old Cavalier King Charles, and just very comfortable, right? Yes. He just made himself comfortable today.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Mason, because he has a unique story.
Right. Mason actually came to us over the weekend. He came to us from a home. He was surrendered to us because his owner could no longer afford him. And what they couldn't afford is, you really can't see it here, but he's got a little bit of some skin issues. And then also, too, with the smaller breeds and breeds like him, he does need some grooming and some extra attention. So they were unable to care for Mason and afford the medical care and the upkeep that he needs. So
do you see that a lot?
We do, unfortunately. And that's one of the projects that we're fundraising for today. We were provided a very generous matching grant. So all the donations that are made to us are matched dollar for dollar. And it was to expand services that we already offer for animals and owners, more importantly, like Mason. We are looking to expand our pet clinic. We are looking to buy a new mobile medical unit so that folks can find us in the community that don't have transportation. We also do a lot of services to seniors as well. So doubling our Senior Pet Connection is really one of the hopes that we have. Senior Pet Connection is like a Meals on Wheels for pets.
Okay. Mason obviously is very comfortable in front of the camera. And he's deciding to take a little bit of a nap.
He fell asleep on the way over.
Yes, he did.
That has to be a difficult decision for somebody to give up their pet.
Absolutely.
So it is important that you guys are able to provide that care for the pet, and so that they know that they are going to be taken care of.
Right, and so that it's affordable. I mean, our mission, ideally, is to keep people and pets together. So our tagline is, help the people and the pets in the community. It's not just about, everyone knows that we do adoptions, but really it's those services that we can offer. And again, the funds that we raise today will go to some of those programs. And then we also have an angel fund. So if we had the funds, if the owner was able to keep Mason, we would have been able to maybe make them eligible for that angel fund as well.
And the angel fund, if people are wanting to, is this a situation where they can adopt out of that? How are the different ways that people can help?
Well, the angel fund really is a medical fund for families who are struggling financially and they need help with their vet bills.
Okay.
So we'll provide the veterinary services pretty much at our cost.
Which is huge for so many
Absolutely,
families.
absolutely.
And the donations that you're getting today mainly going to funds like that.
Yes,
They're able to
specifically. Yeah, we received we had a gentleman who was very interested in spurring new donors, and so we said, "Wow, let's do this on Give Day," because isn't that what this is really all about? Is someone who may not have already given to your charities to be able to give $5 and really make a difference. So he was willing to match dollar for dollar for that, to expand services specifically for seniors and low-income pet owners. So ultimately, they don't come to the shelter.
Now, Mason is not up for adoption yet.
He is not. He will be up for adoption in a couple weeks. One of the other things besides his skin issues that we need to deal with is he hasn't been altered yet. And so spaying and neutering is something that is critical to our organization, and every pet that we adopt out is spayed and neutered. With our new mobile medical unit that hopefully we will be able to fund through this program, owners that can't make it to a veterinary service will actually be going out into the community to do that. So at an affordable cost, of course.
And these are all things that are just making making it easier for people
Absolutely.
and making it just better for them and their pets.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What this mobile unit? Talk a little bit more about it and how often it goes, or how it would function.
We're trying to raise money for a new mobile unit. What we'd like to do is be able to go to our Senior Pet Connections home. We have 170 seniors in Pinellas County that we deliver pet food to, and we also give their pets veterinary services. We'd like to be able to take the mobile unit to their house to provide those services instead of bringing the pets back and forth.
And that it keeps the pet in the home, and it
Yes,
allows them to
absolutely.
keep their pets.
Right. I mean, think about your own pet, and if you had to, give that pet to a volunteer to take to a clinic, and that's really your, these are seniors that are homebound, and that's oftentimes that's their only interaction and their only friend in their home.
And so that is huge for them to be able to have them come to them and be able to keep their pet
Absolutely.
in the home.
Yeah.
If people want to check out maybe some of the animals that you do have up for adoption, or
Sure,
learn about
they can
that.
go to our website at humanepinellas.org. All of the animals that you'll see on our website that are available for adoption are up there in real time, meaning that the second they are ready for adoption, they are on that website, and then when they are adopted, they are taken off. And then they can learn about all the other great services, and we do have a wonderful video online about the Senior Pet Connection program. I promise you will be moved by it.
Great, we'll have to check it out. Sharon Boys and Stacy Efall with the Humane Society of Pinellas, thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, best of luck today. Thank you. Our next guests are going to be getting seated here in just a few minutes. We're going to take you now to the leaderboard and check out all of those donations that you're making. Good afternoon. I'm Allison Kropff with 10 News WTSP, and I'm so happy to be here today for Give Day Tampa Bay 2017 and introducing you to some of the nonprofits that you're helping in our community during Give Day. And one of those that I'm going to introduce to you now, we talk a lot about these nonprofits that don't get a lot of exposure all throughout the year, and this day is really important to them. So I want to introduce you to Mickey Thompson. She's the executive director at 211 Tampa Bay Cares. So it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you. It's a great day.
Yeah, it is a great day. You were talking about a day like today is so great for bringing awareness to your organization.
Yes, definitely. So our organization, 211 Tampa Bay Cares, we operate 211, which is a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, a hotline for people, a crisis hotline. So then anyone who may be feeling depressed, suicidal, or is in a domestic violence situation or a sexual assault situation, they certainly can reach out to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free of charge, to talk to our team that is there to help folks. And so really for a hotline and a telephone number of just dialing those three simple numbers, we need to get the word out to the community so they know where to call when they need help the most. So a day like today really gives us the opportunity. Many of us don't have large marketing budgets, so even to be here today is a great honor and a great opportunity for our organization as well as many others.
It is such an important phone number for the community to know about, because I'm sure that it means the world to somebody that is making that phone call to 211.
Very much so. You know, we have calls from any age of folks. It can be anyone from, we've had children as young as 8 years old pick up the phone and dial those three-digit numbers, 211, all the way up to a senior citizen. We've had somebody in their 90s calling. A partner has passed away, and they're really struggling to make ends meet. So how do they get connected to a service for that? And at our organization, we also provide financial assistance for adults without minor children to be able to get them that help that they need to stay in their home. They may not always need to go to a nursing home. They can stay in their home if they have a little bit of assistance. So we also do that.
So talk about that. When somebody answers that phone call and they're talking, whether it's the 8-year-old that you mentioned or somebody who is 90, and they take that phone call, what are the next steps in that process that they're helping them through that crisis?
Well, we have both staff and volunteers who answer the phone. And so just to let people know that we have an extensive training program for everyone, whether you're a staff or volunteer. And the key for us is to make sure that our folks who are answering the line are there to be able to listen and to care. And so we do a lot of active listening training with folks so that they can be able to respond to those calls. Our crisis intervention, we also do a long crisis intervention training with staff as well to be able to handle those. So truly the bottom line is to de-escalate crisis situations when they call into the line. And then the ultimate goal is to get them connected to services out in the community, and that's kind of our tagline. We create connections through the power of information, innovation, and hope. So really, creating the connection, that's the ultimate goal, to get them connected to all the services like they are that are here, on today's show and on the Give Day website.
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about the financial services that you just mentioned that people are able to stay in their homes.
So with our partner, I'll mention them, Pinellas County Government, we were able to provide financial assistance to anyone 18 years or older who's a Pinellas County resident and may be struggling to make ends meet. Maybe now they may be facing eviction in their home, or their lights may be turned off, or the water's been turned off. We can help pay for some of that to get the lights turned back on, the water back on, and to keep them in their home. Again, it's really particularly for seniors trying to keep them in their home. It's much cheaper as a community than paying for a nursing home.
And donations today, when they come into your organization, where does that money go?
Well, it primarily goes to support our call center operation. We handled over about 90,000 calls last year. Wow. And people are always surprised to hear, like, our telephone bill is about $6,000 to $7,000 a month. So really to pay for our telephone bill, as well as to pay for language line, which is an interpreter service, because we also get callers that speak different languages other than English, and we need to be able to translate those with translators. So that's where our funding goes.
Yeah, that is a big telephone bill that you need to be able to.
Well, it's a call center. It's a hotline. So
yes. And so just to make sure that everyone in the community knows 211 and they can get that help that they need.
Yes, and today they can help out and volunteer and tell 2 people about 211 who may not have heard of it before. That is at those 3 digits, 211. That's all they have to dial on their phone.
Yeah. All right. Mickey Thompson, the Executive Director at 211 Tampa Bay Cares. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you so much.
Yes. While our next guests are being seated right now, we're going to take you back to the leaderboard and get you updated on those totals.
Thank you.
Our next nonprofit is Big Brothers Big Sisters of Tampa Bay. I want to introduce you to Stephen A. Cook. Thank you for talking with us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So nice to be here.
Yeah, it's been a busy day for you today. You've got lots of activities going on.
It's been a great day. It's been a great day. We've been trying to do activities, in all 7 of the counties that we serve, to honor the day and get the word out.
Mm-hmm. So what have you done so far this morning?
Well, the big thing that we did, we had a nice luncheon today for several of our donors at the Straz, where we had a chance to introduce people to our program, our need for volunteers and funding, which we had about 150 people at. And we're doing an event this evening at the Chihuly Museum as well to introduce people and bring in some additional donors.
I think many of us have heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters before, but maybe 1 or 2 people out there that haven't heard about it. Tell us what this program does for the community.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a very specialized mentoring program that provides mentors to at-risk kids in our community, most of whom are missing a father or mother, male or female role model in their lives. And what we do is we recruit these great volunteers throughout our community. We screen them, we train them, and then we match them up based on common interests between them and the child, the needs of the child, and also geography. We want it to be convenient for all involved. And we serve about 3,000 children a year, with our one-to-one mentoring services.
Talk about that screening process just a little bit more. How are you able to make sure that it's a really good fit?
That's really child safety as well as volunteer safety are one of our hallmarks. And what we do is we have a pretty extensive screening process that involves not just a criminal records background check, references, from the family and place of employment of the volunteer, but also an in-depth 1-hour interview and assessment. And, many of our volunteers tell us afterwards that they know more about us than their spouse does. And I don't know if that's quite true, but we just want to make sure, since these parents are entrusting their most valuable asset to us, their children, we want to make sure that we do this right. But the real secret is really, even after the match, is to provide a lot of support. So our staff has monthly contacts with both the child, the volunteer, the parent, sometimes the teacher that's involved, where we check in to make sure that everyone's following the rules, that ensure safety, but also that they're meeting the objectives, of that youth so that they can reach the goals they're going after.
I'm sure you have seen so many stories about how this just changes people's lives.
Oh, it changes the lives of not just the kids in our program, but also the volunteers. It changed my life. When I first got involved in 1994, not to betray my age here, as a volunteer, but I got matched up with a 7-year-old boy here in Tampa, and that impacted my life so much that eventually I changed careers, and in 2002 became the CEO for this organization. But it really does change your life.
And what are some of the things that, if someone wants to volunteer, what do you do when you're meeting these kids, and what are the activities, and how does all of that work?
On our website, we provide throughout all of our counties several sessions every month where if someone is saying, gee, I might want to do this, we provide these orientation and training sessions that people can come to. They're in the evenings or on weekends or all different times and places. And during this 90-minute session, you really will get a feel and knowledge about what it is to become a big brother and a big sister. And we find that people who complete an application after going through this, they have a very high likelihood that they're going to end up getting matched because they know what they're getting into at that point. You know, it is a commitment. We ask for a 15-month commitment up front from people coming in. But I'll tell you, it's not really that hard. We make it bigger than it is in our heads. People that get into this program tell us, geez, if I only known how easy and fun this was, I would have done it a long time ago.
Yeah, so 15 months is when you're matched up. And what do you do during those 15 months? Are you required to, is it once a week? Is it once a day? How does that work?
So for our community-based program, which is our biggest program, it's a commitment of, on average, 8 hours a month. And you can schedule those at your convenience and the convenience of your little brother or little sister and their family members. And we help set up your first couple outings, if you will. But it could be, you know, as simple as going to a park. It could be going over to the beach. Most of our littles here in Tampa have never seen the Gulf of Mexico. Wow. And so one of the best things you can do is let's go over the bridge and see the beaches over in Pinellas County. Most of our littles have never been to a ball game, so we go over and see a Rays game, you know, and see what's going on with there. My little brothers that I have now, I work with identical twin boys, had never been to a movie theater before. And so we had the fun when we got matched. I think we went and saw Ratatouille the first time. But we try to provide low-cost, no-cost activities that are meaningful because this is about the relationship as opposed to spending a lot of money.
Yeah, making a difference for sure in this community. All right, Stephen A. Cook with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Tampa Bay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a joy.
Good luck today. Have fun at the event tonight, too.
Thank you.
While our next guests are again getting seated, we're going to take you now to our leaderboard and see all those donations that you've been making all throughout the day today. Our next nonprofit is the Clearwater Jazz Holiday. I'd like to introduce you to Sarah Evans. She's the VP of the Clearwater Jazz Holiday Foundation, and John Kernick with the St. Pete College. Thank you both for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Clearwater Jazz Holiday, we've heard about this, but for people maybe that haven't been or haven't heard a lot about it, talk to us a little bit about that.
Wow, thank you, Allison. A lot of people are familiar with Clearwater Jazz Holiday because they look forward to those 4 days in October every year, and they enjoy the sunsets and the great music. But what they may not know is that we're a year-round foundation doing so much throughout Tampa Bay to support music and arts education. So that's what we're here today, to get that message out, to let people know all that we're doing and just how much those programs have grown even in recent years.
Yeah, and we want to talk a little bit more about that new partnership that you have going, but we have a quick video that we'd like to share just about that real fast. Watch this. I'd say that gives you a pretty good idea of what it's like, those 4 days that you were talking about that everyone looks forward to. It's always a lot of fun.
Right. Is it October yet?
Yeah, it's right around the corner. I'm sure that's how you guys are feeling. But you were talking about this new partnership that you have with St. Pete College. So talk a little bit about how that works.
Well, we've been working on ways that we can integrate music and learning experiences for students for many years. But one really exciting program that we've developed over the past 3 years is a partnership with St. Pete College's Music Industry and Recording Arts program. And John can tell you a little more about what we've been doing with them.
Yeah, it's sort of a new development for the college where we try to convince and teach some of the students that they love music, they love the arts, and they can make money while they're doing it, so that they're not going to give their art and their craft away. And so what I do is I teach the music business class, and we've just developed a new hospitality program, and in that area we're working with trying to get the students to understand that even though they might be a talented musician or an artist, that they can develop multiple streams of income. They can experience what it's like to run a festival. So our partnership with the Jazz Holiday started about 3 years ago, and we have volunteers and interns that are working in operations, studios, soundstage and light, so that they get a full, rich experience and really understand what it takes to be involved in the industry, so that they're not going into it blindly.
So this has been 3 years of this. How are the students, responding to some of this?
Well, it's exciting because I go of the advantage to having some of the students there. They see me out on the stage with a lot of the production going on, and they look at me and go, wait a minute, don't get on that ladder. Let me do it. But I show up, and we have a lot of volunteers who are working. They come back, they tell their friends at the school, and they say, this is something you have to volunteer for. It's like no experience that they've ever had. So we get more and more students for our courses. They love the experience. Several of them have gotten jobs, and it just keeps building and building. We have a waiting list for a lot of the positions for the students coming into classes.
It's popular.
And to John's point, I would add that it's our involvement so deeply that our CEO, Steve Weinberger, our board members, Alan Sams, our current board president, Lee Maidenberg, our operations manager, Deb Flournoy, they're all part of going into this class, this music business class, and sharing personal experiences and being part of the learning experience. So our involvement has really grown, and the students benefit so richly from our experiences, and that's why it's become such a popular class, and it's growing.
Yeah, it's doing very well. Sarah Evans, the VP of the Clearwater Jazz Holiday, and John Kernick with St. Pete College. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take you to the leaderboard now so you can get a check of today's totals while our next guests are getting seated. I'd like to introduce you now to Chris Shea. He is with Metro Wellness and Community Center. How's it going today? How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you. It's been a very busy day for you. You guys are really out in the community trying to get the word out about Metro Wellness.
Yeah, we're doing a live feed on Facebook about every hour, trying to highlight different aspects of the programming that we do here in Tampa Bay.
All right, talk about that. What do you do here in Tampa Bay?
We do a lot here in Tampa Bay. We are the largest LGBTQ organization in Tampa Bay. Primarily, we started out with healthcare focus around HIV back in the early 90s and have grown into the community center for the LGBT community. We also do case management, we do testing, prevention, and outreach, and we have a full range of primary care now in both our St. Pete office and our Ybor campus or location.
So you have been going to these different aspects. You've been going and doing these Facebook Lives all throughout the day. What are some of the places you've stopped by so far?
So our first one was actually, we just bought the building that we've been leasing, bought it, and are renovating it. So the first live shot was taking a look at the demolition on half of our building in phase one of our renovation. And then we moved there to talk about our testing and prevention and outreach by taking a live shot of Chris, one of our prevention leads, in front of our Metro vans that we park at events throughout Tampa Bay and do our testing and outreach.
When do you expect to be into the new building?
The new building we're in, it's not a new building. It's
okay. The renovations.
The renovation. So we're all cramped into one side of the building right now, and during phase one, and once we finish phase one, we're going to move over onto the other side of the building and be cramped in that phase and live out of cubicles and while they do phase two, and by the end of the summer of 2018, hopefully it will be ready to go.
How is that going to help you guys out to have that space?
It is going to be great to have that additional space with doubling the size of patients that we can see, the exams rooms and intake rooms that we have from 8 to 16, and really allow us to increase our community programming also, because what's one thing Metro is known for, the health aspect, the HIV prevention and outreach and case management, but we aren't necessarily known as the LGBTQ community center for Tampa Bay, and we are. We have a community center in St. Pete, and then the community center in Ybor, and the Welcome Center right downtown St. Pete.
Does a day like today really give you that exposure that you need to get out in the community?
We're hoping. We need it. We want everybody to recognize when they see Metro that we are the LGBTQ community center. How
important is this center to the Tampa Bay area?
I think it is extremely important. One thing that if you're familiar with HRC or Advocate and magazines like that, they keep on highlighting the fact how progressive some of the communities in Florida have grown, and Metro wants to be at the forefront of that, and we are a safe place to be, an inclusive community to live in.
So the rest of the day, I'm assuming you're doing more Facebook Lives.
Yes, we'll be doing some more Facebook Lives, but now they'll be probably from here.
They're going to be from this area. Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Chris Shays with Metro Wellness and Community Center. Thanks for what you're doing in our community. We appreciate it. Good luck today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, that wraps it up for this hour of Give Day Tampa Bay, but be sure to stay tuned next hour. There's going to be another host in a live program, but most of all, be sure to log on to giveday.org anytime before midnight tonight and make a contribution to your favorite nonprofit organization. There are 500 organizations. You can learn all about them, and you're going to be supporting those groups who keep Tampa Bay area healthy and strong. Thank you so much for supporting Give Day. We'll see you in the next hour.
Good afternoon and welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2017. My name is Dalia Colon and I'll be your host for the next hour of our live streaming webcast.